See my father being an alcoholic, I could look back and see he was an alcoholic at that time. I just remember him drinking and stuff, and I didn't want to be like him. I remember saying that I won't be that bad. And then it come up changing. I mean, I ended up being like my father, an alcoholic, along with all the drugs too.
When is inpatient absolutely necessary? We consider it to be absolutely necessary for people who have failed to be able to achieve abstinence with outpatient treatment.
Inpatient gave me a lot. I needed that. Because if you have no structure and you come and go for outpatient, you know, you can fake the system out in outpatient. Sooner or later, addiction gets the best of you, and then you're back smoking and crack for me, and drinking alcohol again, and coming up with positive urines and not telling them and try to hide it.
In cases of very significant withdrawal, treatment in the inpatient unit is not only practical, but safer and more effective.
The thing with alcohol is it sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden you're just like over the edge of the cliff. It was like what's the word I want? A balance of, let's say I can drink, I need to drink this much just to maintain like wellness, where you didn't feel like throwing up, where you weren't shaking so badly that you couldn't stand up even.
When people come in who have overwhelming withdrawal symptoms that cause them to not be able to concentrate or even to tolerate being still and being able to be present for counseling and so on, we have a number of medications that are very effective.
In outpatient, when I was trying to focus on what the topic or skills that we were learning, without the clarity and with like having racing thoughts, anxieties, just where you're just sitting there and shaking, trying to understand the concepts, that was like almost impossible.
I think most people are pleasantly surprised to find out that they're greeted by friendly and caring people here. One of several other skills that they get is the ability to recognize what their triggers are. And when they're in the full throes of their addiction, the impulse leads to the action without even a moment's consideration. In recovery, they have been given back the chance to contemplate that for a moment. And that makes a huge difference for a lot of our people.
It's an excellent complete change. I needed it. And so having that kind of structure and 24-hour, access to medical, emotional, care was pretty much imperative for me to make the move to go back to outpatient. I had another resource is what it came down to. I had another option. I had a better understanding of outpatient. It felt like that I was the biggest part of my own recovery plan.
I think this is my chance where I got lucky. While we're in a program, you just might hear something that might save your life. And I think that's what it was this time. When the judge gave me the incentive to stay there, but now I got the incentive myself to stay close, to stay sober. 3 days after I got inpatient, I went to the garage and I went back to work.
We don't have a cure for this disease. If we, if we were talking about breast cancer, we would still treat these folks even if we were only curing half of them. There'd be no question about it. And as we learn more and more about addiction as a chronic progressive brain disease, many of us are aware that there are going to be some folks that are not going to ever be completely well, but they might be a whole lot better if they have periods of sobriety to the extent that they can have satisfying lives. And if we fail to give people a shot at that, we've done them a disservice.